as we go into 2012, a little bit more of a cautionary tale we're telling now, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you think back to a year ago, right, what were we looking at? We were looking at lower unemployment, we were looking at higher consumer spending, we were looking at good corporate profits, and we were saying the economy looks like it's starting to move again. And all of the economists in this survey that we talked to were saying the same thing. It looks like we're finally getting back on track. Well, then we had Libya, which drove up oil prices. We had the earthquake in Japan and the tsunami, which obviously disrupted global supply chains. We had Europe, which goes on. Right. We had the budget battles in Washington and the debt ceiling debate there. All of that served to basically, bring down growth, leave job growth, basically stagnant. We started to see that pick up again at the end of the year, and so you're starting to see that optimism coming back on again. The question is, of course, are we going to go through this whole start-stop process again, or is this time real?
Right. I mean, I think the quote gets attributed to Yogi Berra, but is this deja vu all over again, right? I mean, there's confidence now.
Yep.
We seem to be building a base. Your article alludes to that, quoting some of the economists. Is it more solid in early 2012 than it was in 2011? With, as you say, the unknowable shocks that are sure to come.
And what it really highlights is that we're still in this economy that is not able to withstand a shock like that. At some point, we get to the point where the economy has really picked up the speed that a rise in gasoline prices, an overseas conflagration of some sort doesn't set everything back. But we're not there yet. And none of the economists that we talk to, or very few of the economists that we talk to, have the confidence that the economy has enough momentum to sort of withstand a shock like that. Now, if we luck out, if we manage to push a shock like that out a few months, this momentum continues, maybe we do get to that point. But I don't think anybody really has the confidence that we're there yet.
And Neil, I wonder if you could weigh in on this, whether a shock like an earthquake or tsunami is something in its own right, but this continuing problem in Greece, if there was a default, I mean, that's something that people are watching every day. It's sort of a whole nother animal altogether. That kind of a shock.
I mean, I was in the Davos World Economic Forum annual meeting a few weeks ago, and the consensus there seems to be they expect Europe to muddle through. No big solutions, no grand answers, but nothing horrific either. No uncontrollable defaults. Certainly, again, as we talked about a minute ago, Italy and Spain are the main issues. I think, frankly, as far as what now in early 2012 that you worry most about is around Iran. I think that, from a geopolitical point of view, is perhaps a potentially more damaging scenario, depending on what goes up there with the West so firmly against the nuclear efforts there. That seems to me, Ben, to be a bigger issue, perhaps.
Well, and if you have something happen in Iran that really drives up oil prices, that hits consumers. And one of the things that we've seen here in the U.S. has been that consumers have been gaining a little bit of strength. That has helped to offset some of the overseas concerns. Oil prices pick up, all of a sudden consumers have less money in their wallets to spend, and you start to see a situation where the U.S., that sort of exceptionalism that we've been seeing, the economy that's been separating from the rest of the world, that has a potential to slow back down again.
And what about the housing market? What are economists predicting there, or forecasting there, I should say? Do they feel that this is the year we might start to see a little bit better news out of the housing market, which has been obviously such a drag on the economy throughout the recession?
Well, but housing is one area where the economy now is in better shape than it was a year ago. We have started to see some signs of life. Pretty much nobody you talk to thinks that this is going to be the year that housing takes off again. And the other thing to remember is housing has become such a smaller piece of the economic picture that even reasonably robust growth in housing doesn't boost our total economy the way it did during the boom years. So a quick pickup in housing doesn't necessarily turn around the economy the way it might have a few years ago.